becomes, what now for John McCain? Joining us from Little Rock, Arkansas, the former governor of that state, Mike Huckabee, who now hosts his own Fox News program weekends at 8 p.m. It's a good show, Governor. You broke the story with Joe the plumber. You had him on first.
Right.
So way to go. Way to make me look bad. You, an amateur. You with no experience. You, a guy who doesn't know what he's doing. Bring in Joe the plumber, and I don't get anything. Thanks, Governor.
I'm sure it'll never happen again, Bill. I'm sure it'll never happen again.
It better not.
Yeah, I know. That's what I've been. That's what I've been told. But we had a great time. Joe the plumber is just a great guy. He is what he pretends to be and portends to be, and that is he's a plumber. He was out throwing a football with his son. I told him on the show, Bill, that if John McCain wins the presidency, he owes it to Joe the plumber, because Joe the plumber helped push the reset button. I heard
Joe the plumber is going to be Secretary of the Interior. Pardon the pun.
Well, you know, he just might be.
All right. Let's get on to McCain.
All right.
Okay, so as we talked about with Newt Gingrich earlier in the program, you got a big hill to climb here. Reagan did it in 1980, but he did it because he had a debate where he wiped out Carter and just a week to go before the election. McCain doesn't have that. So McCain now has to convince an electorate that has pretty much decided Barack Obama is the man. He's got to convince at least 5%, with Obama at 52 in most of the polls, to change their mind. How do you do it if you're his advisor? What do you tell him to do?
There are 4 words that Barack Obama said. They came out of his own lips, and here they are. Spread the wealth around.
Yeah, that's what Gingrich said.
Well, and it's exactly what needs to reframe this entire presidential election, because we've got to understand, when Barack Obama says we're going to give a tax cut to 95% of the people, what he's really talking about is some people who didn't pay a dime of taxes are going to get a check from the government. Now, where does that check come from? It comes out of the pockets of a whole lot of people who worked real hard to get what they had. They don't resent somebody having something, but they resent giving it to people who stayed home. We're about to have Halloween. Imagine if kids stayed at home and didn't trick-or-treat, and the kids who went out trick-or-treating had to give up about half their candy for the kids who didn't bother to get in the costume.
Okay.
You know, it's just, that's not
look,
America.
All right. It's not America, but America's changing. Country's moving left. And we saw this in 1976 when Ford ran against Carter after Watergate, after Nixon. Country's moving left. There's no doubt about it. They're moving left. You just heard Willie Brown, and you know the gay marriage thing is now in Connecticut. The judges are imposing it. People are accepting it. We have that proposition in California. I think it's going to be defeated. I think gay marriage is going to stay there. So the country's moving left. Along with that comes hey, what's so bad about me, a working guy making 45, 50 grand a year, getting some of O'Reilly's money? You know, what's so bad about that? We don't really trust O'Reilly anyway. He probably kicked a bunch of people in the face to get where he is. So let's take a little bit about his money. You know, Governor, there's millions of people who feel that way. You know there are.
Well, what they don't understand is that when people take O'Reilly's money, O'Reilly doesn't get to hire some people, put in money in investments that ultimately creates jobs.
Yeah, but Barack will hire them.
The best thing the government can do.
Barack is saying, look, I said to Laura Ingraham last week that I don't have a problem with Barack Obama because he says what he's going to do. I mean, I don't like the guys who lie and you know, are deceivers. Obama's flat out saying, look, I'm taking the money from the wealthy and the corporations, and I'm going to give it to you. That's what I'm doing, okay? He doesn't try to couch it. I told him right to his face. I said, senators is income redistribution. You know what he said to me, Governor? Nothing. Nothing.
Well, that's
he didn't say it isn't.
Okay. But some of us don't think
it's okay. He's banking, Governor, that everybody who watches NBC News, everybody that reads the New York Times, everybody that is now turning out to his rallies, 100,000 plus at St. Louis, want the dough. They want the health care. They want the entitlements. And you know what? He may be right.
Well, what's stupid is when you talk about let's tax the corporations. You know what that does?
Yeah,
corporations
they'll pass
don't
it
pay
on
tax.
to us.
They don't pay tax. They collect tax and they stick it on what they sell us, so it means the products are higher. And I don't care who you are. You can be the guy barely making a living, and you're paying the corporation's tax for them. That's why this whole idea of raising taxes on even wealthy people doesn't make sense, because the wealthy people aren't going to adjust their lifestyle.
Now, McCain has had 6 months to sell that, and he hasn't been able to sell it.
Well, Joe the plumber did a better job of it in 4 words out of Obama's mouth, eliciting that, I think, than maybe has happened up until now. But I do believe John McCain is beginning to really capitalize on it. He's beginning to hit hard on this in his message, and he needs to. He needs to remind America what it was like when we had a welfare system. I was a governor in the mid-90s when we transformed the welfare system, and it was the best thing that happened. Unemployment numbers went down, and jobs went up, and wealth went up when we did that.
Okay, Governor. Well, we've got 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. Thank you. In a moment, is there bitterness on the